Hi everyone, Adarsh here. So this is a continuation of my previous video, which is lambda expression. So this is another use case where we on the first video I talk about the multiple combinations of the methods, like with argument, with single argument, with multiple argument, with return type and all. So that on the basis of that combination, how we can just write a lambda expressions and pass that lambda expression to the methods so that it will work. So this is a third video tutorial where I'll talk about I'm having a interface which accept a multiple argument. It doesn't return anything. So for these sort of things, how we can just write a lambda expression. So let's jump into the code and see how it looks like. So in my third sample, I'm having my work interface where it accept there is a method which is do work. It doesn't return anything, but it accept two input values, x data 1 and data 2. It's based on the generic, and I'm having a work executor method where which is also a generic implementation. So work execute work is a method inside the work executor which in turn which accept implementation of my work interface, and then it accept two arguments, and it call do work method on the my work implementation, and then pass the values which it accept, pass the data values which it accept as a parameters. So this is the small requirement. So where we have, I'm just talking about my third use case where I'm having a multiple input and doesn't have any return type. So when lambda expression was not there, how this code looks like, what we'll do, we'll just create a work executor instance and just bind it with two data types, and then we'll just call the work execute work method, and inside that we can just pass anonymous class, and we'll just override the do work method and provide the implementation for that, and then we'll pass the two additional parameters which is accepted by execute work method, so which is like data 1 and data 2. So if I execute this piece of code, so do work method execution started, data is 100 and 200, and then data work method do work method execution ended. Like that, I'm getting anything because it doesn't returning anything, so its return type is void. But same sort of things how we can just write in the lambda expression. So this is a first style of writing a lambda expression where I have just created a work executor instance, and then I'm just calling execute work method, and I'm just passing a lambda expression for that interface is this much. So it has two parameters, which is value 1, value 2, integer data type, and here's a method body, and this is 100 and 200 is an additional parameter for execute work. So what we are doing, we are just passing a number of lines of code to the method as a parameter, so which gonna be taken up by and execute work method, and it will execute that. So if I just execute this piece of code, there's no difference in the output. You can see there's no difference, but the way of representing and styling is totally different. So same sort of things we can just write in another way here. So here what change I have done, I have just removed the data type integer data type, because the work executor class is already binded with the integer data type. So if I just execute this, there is no issues in that, and there is no change in the output also. Here's an example when I'm having, instead of multiple line, I'm having a single line statement in the main method, in the implementation do work method basically. So if I just execute this piece of code, So it's just printing data which we have passed here. So what we have done, we same sort of thing, we just created an instance, we are just calling a execute work method, and we are just passing a number of lines of code to the method as an argument. So what we have done, we have just binded it with integer data type, and then we have just kept the curly braces, and then we have a SOP statement. That's why we need to put semicolon at the end of SOP statement, because curly braces are there, and these two are additional parameter for execute work method. So if I just execute this piece of code, I am gonna get only the data and whatever the values I am passing, that value I can see here, 100 and 200. So same sort of thing, how we can just write in another way, like when I am having a single line statement here. So instead of curly braces, if you notice, I have just removed the curly braces and semicolon here after the SOP statement, and rest everything is same. So if I am just gonna execute this piece of code, there is no change in the output. Why I am telling you all this combination, because people get confused why the semicolon has moved, or why curly braces has not kept, or why data type is not there. So just to make sure that you will understand that each and everything, that's why I'm just going through each and every corners. So here what I have done, I have just removed the data types here, but I have just kept the curly braces. That's why I need to put the semicolon at the end of SOP statement, and these are the two so this is the first parameter for execute work method. This is the first parameter for execute work method, this completely, and this is the second parameter, and this is the third parameter. So if I just execute this method, there is no change in the output, you can see. So same sort of thing what I have done here. If you see, I have just removed the curly braces. So I, for single line statement, I just removed the data type here. You can see that value 1, value 2. So whatever the value 100 is going, it will go to value 1. Whatever 200 is there, it's gonna go to value 2. Because if you see the implementation, data 1 gonna go in here as a first parameter, data 2 gonna go as a second parameter here. And there's a single line statement, so that's why I can remove the curly braces and semicolon. So if I just execute this piece of code, there is no change in the output, because it doesn't have any return type or anything, so there is nothing. So I hope this will help you to understand the third use case. I'll come up with the next use case in my coming video tutorial. Till then, take care, bye.